woman charged, hold on y'all, woman charged with renting luxury apartments to gang members. Okay, I seen this headline and I thought it was interesting. This is out of NYC. Federal investigator arrested an NYC woman for allegedly using stolen identities to provide luxury apartment hideouts to members of violent street gangs. Latoya Williams was October 5th at her Upper West Side high-rise, the NY Times reported. The 35-year-old was charged with aggravated identity theft and wire fraud. Investigators first suspected Williams' involvement in the city's violent gang life when her phone number, listed under the name Toya Apartments, was found on the cell phone of a man killed in broad daylight in Queens in Feb of 2021. The victim was a known associate of the Macball Brim Street Gang, which is a faction of the National Bloods Gang. Months later, the Times reported law enforcement discovered a Yonkers apartment where gang members had been living was rented to a woman using the name Toya Apartments number. Further investigation found the phone number was also connected to apartments in Brooklyn that were being used by gang members. At one of the apartments, police found 5 guns that belonged to the Wood City Street Gang. Authorities allege Williams used falsified tax returns, bank statements, social security numbers, and driver's license to rent the apartments in other people's names so she could avoid paying for them. She allegedly paid for some of the rentals using NY state unemployment benefits cards. More than 10 victims of identity fraud were used in the scheme. The investigation has shown that apartments rented by Williams consistently have unpaid or underpaid rent, past due balances, and other uncollected fees, the complaint stated. This has resulted, among other things, in lawsuits and debt collections being initiated against victims of identity theft in order to collect money. So basically what she did was she used other people's identities to put the lease in the names of these victims, these identity fraud victims. So the apartments aren't in her name. They stole people's identities, put them in their name, and they don't pay rent, or they pay the rent late. Then it results in these victims being pursued for that money. They're getting sued, then they're getting brought into civil court. So they did an investigation and found out all these apartments have a couple things in common. Criminal activity is being reported at a high degree, because in luxury apartments, criminal activity is low. And they noticed that all of these names were connected to her. Williams was released on $250,000 bond after she made her first court appearance. And she's going to be gone for a very long time because she's probably going to get charged in sort of like a conspiracy, like a RICO type thing, because what they did was they stole people's identities in order to falsify leases and documents so that they can, if they abused these apartments and did bad things in them, it wouldn't trace back to them, but it would trace back to an innocent victim whose identity was stolen. She's associated with the Bloods, Macball Brim Bloods, 35. She might be somebody's auntie, somebody's niece, something like that. One of the OG's brothers. More than 10 victims. They also used New York State unemployment benefits cards to pay for some of the rentals. So they paid for the apartments using unemployment benefits cards, which is also, so basically they're going to get wrapped up in a huge conspiracy. The feds have picked it up. She's ruined her career. A black professional woman who had an apartment in a high-rise in a very, very luxurious part of Manhattan. She could have just pursued her career, and she probably made enough money. She didn't need the money from the gangs, but I guess she got greedy and figured, hey, the money that I'm making, I'm a millionaire, but that's not enough. I need to make extra millions messing with the D-boys and the gang members that I might be related to, or maybe I'm dating one of the OGs and I'm throwing it up to him. I'm giving it up to him. I'm giving him some good, and old boy done spit some crazy game that went in my head, and now he's telling me, do this for me, do that for me. He laying down the pipe just like a plumber, so he might got this girl wide open, and when girls get wide open, they tend to risk everything. They'll start doing whatever they got to do to keep that man, because they don't want another woman to get that man. So don't get it twisted. Professional women love bad boys. She was a millionaire probably on her own merits, with her own hard work, with her own experience, with her own education, with her own hard work. But she wanted more. Was old boy piping her down? And was that game that he was spitting, discombobulating her brain, and in order to keep getting the pipe, she felt like she had to do this? Who knows? But she ruined her career. Peace to the gods and earth. Since she was an earth and she ruined her career, she was at the height of real estate, very well educated, and it's a shame.